I'm Eric Loy, and welcome to Eric Loy Interviews. On this podcast, we talk with folks from the VTuber community on their channels, their talents, their stories, where they come from, and their plans for the future. We're joined by Lefty. Hi.
Hello.
Please introduce yourself to the crowd.
Hello, my name is Lefty. I'm a trick-or-treat streamer. I'm in a place where it's Halloween 24/7. So what we like to do in our place is we got cute and creepy games, or just anything in general. So you haven't got trick or treat.
Well, it sounds like do you have any candy I can eat?
Yeah.
It's got to be sugar-free,
all the candy
though,
you can eat
unfortunately.
over there.
Unfortunately, it's got to be sugar-free. That's what happens when you get old. You have to actually watch what you're doing. So when did you get started on VTubing?
Not long ago. I started in mid-February.
Mm-hmm. So that was just this year. What made you decide to make the leap?
Well, I originally started doing interviews like you are, and
Cool.
so I just thought, since I've got kind of experience in the radio thing, I just thought streaming is probably the best way to go about that now. And so I just kind of took the leap after some friends of mine just said do it, because I did have a lot of inspiration from friends who got into the VTuber community, and they were the ones that gave me the push into it. And yeah, it just kind of took off from there. I just realized that I just enjoy it.
Well, that's cool. There's been a few folks I've talked to that have a little bit of a radio background, and I hope you see what I see in kind of a parallel here, in that when we were on the radio, people didn't see who we are either. So it's not exactly a precursor to what's going on, but there's some lines going from here to there.
There is. It's kind of like the original kind of VTubers, just without the avatar.
That's right. We were the A-tubers, audio tubers. Some of us are old enough where actually we were the tubers. We had tubes in our radios. That's how old we're. But
just the regular tubers.
Just tubers. So who was the one that kind of got you into the VTuber in the first place? Did you watch them before you did it? But was it just your friends that got you involved?
Yeah, I originally knew them before they even got into VTubing.
Uh-huh.
It was a little well, I don't want to say little anymore because they have taken off. Buka-chan.
Oh yeah.
We've been friends for quite a while, and so they got into it after we were talking about it for a while that she was gonna do it, and I was like, do it. And then she ended up doing it and became popular with it, and then I'd just been watching her for a while. I was like, that actually seems pretty fun. I'll give it a shot myself.
Yeah. What really draws you to it right now? What's your most favorite thing about being a VTuber?
Definitely the fun with people. I mean, I do enjoy solo streams as well, but I find that my best ones are the ones that I have with other different friends.
Yeah. And do you have a good list of folks you can call on to do your collaborations with?
I do now. Thank goodness, because I do have a community of other horror tubers and other clownly VTubers. So I do have a few good friends of mine that I always call upon to collab with. But because of my own little show, I do get new people in from time to time. And then I just get invites to say, you know what, you want to come on my channel? I was like, yes, please.
That's great. I mean, so you got out there pretty quick. I mean, February is only about 4 months, and people are requesting you to come and guest on their channels.
That's right. I honestly can't believe that it has gone this quick. I thought that it was going to take me ages to reach this point, but I may have found a really, really welcoming community.
Well, that's great, because I talked to the other VTubers, and since you had a radio background, you know this, that the people are going to come back for the personality, not necessarily what game you play, what song you play on the radio, or that. They're coming. They want to they get comfortable with the person who's behind the mic, and you're kind of invited into their space. and for you to catch that so quickly is a really good start.
Ah, thank you.
Yeah, there's so many people that just for no fault of their own struggle a little bit at the beginning, but you're able to do it, and the thing is, you're able to keep them there. That's also big. Have you been able to have a really steady chat audience?
I actually have, weirdly, because I've noticed that the amount of regulars that I've been getting so far have all been pretty much the same people. And even though I do have like a bunch of lurkers, I really appreciate their presence there.
Well, yeah, that's gets the numbers up, and the fact that you're able to entertain so many people. Uh, you've had again. I keep referring back to the radio, but you kind of had a little experience in that. But does that ever get to you when you realize that other than being on the radio, now you're talking to people around the planet?
Yeah, that is definitely the most exciting part to me. Because before, on radio, you can't really get much feedback
Hmm.
about, is this a topic that people like? Is people like even enjoying this? And
Right.
so I feel like streaming has that more interactivity
Yeah.
on there. So you kind of like know what to say, what to avoid, and just to see if anyone's actually enjoying it.
Yeah. And that you can get that very quick from a good solid following on chat, and sounds like you've got one. Do you find it
Thank
easy
you,
to keep?
exactly.
Do you find it easy to keep up with them when you're in a game, especially in a collaboration?
I do. I always make sure to keep them entertained.
Yeah.
So the way that I do that is on my streams. I've recently introduced a fishing minigame, so that I have noticed that keeps people like coming back because it's about the competition of it.
Always looking for the marketing edge.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it. Well, but the people come by, they still are coming back for you. I mean, that's the main thing, which is wonderful. Now, you see, you play a lot of horror games and
I do.
and some cute games as well. But what
Yeah.
game right now has your interest the most?
Well, you see, there's a little game out there called Castle Crashers.
Oh, okay. All right.
So ever since I started, it was one of those games that I knew was like the tip of the iceberg because you can play it as like 31 characters, but you only need to complete it as one
Mm.
to be able to finish the game. So I thought, since I've got this channel, I'm gonna do something that I've never done before, and I'm gonna 100% the game as all 31 characters. I've done about 22 characters now, and we're not going to stop until we've done them all. This has been about the first episode. Well, nearly enough the first episode of my stream, so I've been doing it for that long.
Oh my gosh, it has it gotten almost rote for you? I mean, do you know where everything is at this point?
I do. It's gotten to the point where we started to speedrun it. I've been trying my best for for a sub 5 hours.
Because today we're going to do this as character number 29, whoever that is. Okay, let's go.
That is essentially it. It's gone to the point now where we can take out like two different characters per stream.
Now, one of the things too with that is if you have some enemies that come up that you have to have special things to defeat, you're going to be ready for them. So you're going to, I mean, maybe you're not going to
Oh,
walk through them,
definitely.
but at least you'll be ready for them.
Yeah, I started to know what you can avoid altogether.
Actually, I can keep going here because I have something I can pick up or just over that hill. That's
Yeah.
that's the way to do it. What type of other games do you like to put on?
Well, recently I have been getting in touch with different developers,
Mm,
like little indie developers.
yeah.
I've got a little thing on Twitter just to say if anyone has any demos or anything coming up, let me know and I will definitely play them. And so I've been getting a lot of messages for people who want their game seen. So just yesterday I did a little game called Monochrome Valentine.
Okay.
There's such lovely people behind the game, so I thought, you know what, why not? And then we had a couple of streams about that,
Okay.
and the reception of it has been incredible.
good.
It's one of those things. It's the game that has been like it's about 4, 5 years old now, and pretty much everyone who worked on the game was there for the first stream,
Right.
and it was been lovely to see everyone reminiscing about it. And I even made sure I managed to convince the few people to get back together eventually and make a new project together, even though they've been working at different companies now.
Huh.
I convinced them, like, in the future to come back together to make a new project. And I'm thinking, well, that's wonderful.
It is.
Because that wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for them coming together right now.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And converging on your stream to do
Exactly.
this. And your idea actually here is really excellent. And they're getting the exposure, and because people are watching you play their games, getting interested in it, and the fact that they're coming together to watch you play it, that I mean, it just feeds itself, doesn't it?
Oh, definitely. It's a nice mutual relationship there.
Yeah, and that's another thing that the VTuber community can do is partner up with these game developers, and there's so many folks who are doing the game developer thing, whether it's in their garage or in a small company or by themselves or with a couple other people, and they could really get a lot of good feedback and a lot of publicity by teaming up with VTubers.
Definitely. And I'm not going to spoil it right now, but I managed to get a cameo in one of these games.
Mm. So
Uh,
you're going to be a voice actor.
I wish I was a voice. I wish I was a voice actress, but the problem. Well, the thing is, I'm just like a little text box NPC.
Well,
So my character's going in there, not really me.
that's more than I could do. I was in radio for all this time, and I'm jealous of all the voice actors that there, the voiceover people, and that, and like all I did was commercials. I can tell you where to get the best deal on a used car, but that doesn't come up very often.
Yeah.
Now
I definitely wish that I can get into the voice acting business. I have been able to dip my toes a little bit because a friend has asked me to voice act for their for the YouTube video.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
So definitely looking forward to that.
oh yeah, do it while you can. I mean, it's the technology is here now, where you don't have to lug yourself 200 miles to a studio, and somebody else has to have a microphone set up with a board that works and all of that stuff in order to do this correctly. You can do it at home and send and email it in.
Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy because when I started doing the radio stuff and in the 80s, a long time ago, we were sending out commercials to other radio stations. We copied them off, and we had to copy them off from a reel tape to another reel tape, and then mail the reel tape off to the other radio stations.
Yeah.
So not only would that take, depending on how the postal service worked, and hopefully they didn't run a magnet across it, which happens, you have to find a 40-second reel and put it all together and make sure that was fine and hasn't been overused. It took forever to do that. Now you just attach it to an email sent to about 30 stations and go.
Oh, definitely.
And the technology is so far ahead now. Have you thought about getting back into the radio scene?
I wish I did, really, but there's not really many radio stations around me anymore.
Yeah.
It used to be just the kind of thing where I'd get, like, it was just a small commute for me to go into the place. I used to work at it was actually YMCA that I worked for a while, back when I was, still the M side.
Yeah. So you were in radio back then, but their stations just have gone away. Or are all satellite or something, I imagine.
I think that I'm not actually sure what happened to him. I know that one of the radio stations I worked for a tiny little bit has closed down now. I was like thinking, well, at least I'm not working this now.
Yeah, I know how it goes. I was by the time I was done, I was making $10 an hour, which in the United States does not feed the bulldog. uh,
Uh,
so so I'm not in it anymore. But I get a chance to help people with this. And you said you started doing some interviews online. You thought about getting back into that?
oh, definitely. I have been doing interviews on my channel every Wednesday,
Mm-hmm.
where I take on little just little and big VTubers.
Mm,
What we do is we like to just sit down and talk. It's not really like a structured interview. It's
yeah,
more just like some questions to break the ice while we have a conversation.
that's great.
And with the backdrop, we've got a little game where you can, where you can name and like play with little rubber ducks in a pool.
That sounds like fun. That sounds like fun. We're gonna have the links and the description for this interview, so you can check out what Lefty's got going over there, because that sounds like that's a great idea, and I like the fact that you're doing it in a conversational style, because you've got a different angle than I do for sure. You've got a more insider angle to talk about these things, and I'm just kind of general and all over the place. But the conversational part is the key. Um,
Oh, definitely.
yeah, it's just more comfortable, isn't it?
Yeah, I just want to make sure that everyone has a chill time. I think that the best compliment I've had on this is I've become someone's comfort place.
Mm.
It's nice just to have someone just come in and just chill, to be allowed to be themselves.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And a lot of I don't want to say all because there's drama everywhere, but a lot of people have gotten that opportunity through VTubing, where they can use a persona on the screen, a model, still be themselves, and not necessarily take the direct slings and arrows from from the audience should they happen. They get to be themselves without being themselves, and
Yeah,
and uh,
exactly.
and so many people get their chance to show us what they've got. Um, whether it's an ability for art, whether it's singing, whether it's interviewing people or gaming, something that they've got, and they can overcome a lot of things by getting on and VTubing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So as far as that comes out your show comes out every Wednesday.
It does. Every Wednesday or Thursday, depending on when the guest can do.
Okay, sounds cool. I'm gonna binge that and see if I can pick up some tips on how to do
Oh,
this.
definitely. It's always going to be nice to have you.
Yeah, I'm watching, find out how to do this right after all this time. So what big plans do you have for the channel? Do you have any games that are coming up that you're really looking forward to?
Nothing in terms of like actual plans per se. So what I have been wanting to do is I'm going to be doing a whole rebranding of my channel.
Mm,
It's going to be a little while. It's going to be Halloween 2025.
of course it is. It's going to be
It's going
Halloween.
to take
That's right.
definitely. It's always going to be Halloween with me.
Yep. And you are you going to have a new model, a new everything?
Yeah, it's going to be the same character, but it's going to be completely new. Like it's going to be right now. I'm working on 2D,
Hmm.
but I might be taking the jump into the third dimension.
Mm, I know some people like doing 2D better. Um,
Yeah.
but it's I guess it depends on what you're wanting to do, and if you want to be an even scarier clown, 3D might be the way to go.
Definitely. So what we like to do is, even though we are technically a horror place, we just want to be able to spread we want to spread the gift of life, even though I am technically dead.
Yeah, well, it happens. But yeah, that would be a lot of fun. I hope once you get that going that you get a hold of me and we could do some updates on that as it comes up. It's a ways away, but don't forget about the old man, okay? Um,
Ah, I will.
yeah. But as far as games go, do you have any that you're looking forward to?
Just a few. I have really been looking forward to different. Like right now, I am looking forward more to the little guys more than I am like the triple A studios.
Hmm. Well, yeah. I mean, you're it's kind of your thing now, isn't it? I mean, other than the horror genre stuff, the independents are going to be flocking to you.
Hopefully so. Because the first thing that I did as like an indie game spotlight was this little game called Vindictive Drive 2. Really, really nice dev behind it. They recently just got their Kickstarter all successful.
Cool.
So I've been playing a lot of that, trying to promote the promote the game. And that was like a really fun experience. And apparently, the main game is coming out hopefully sometime either at the end of this year to next year. And that was such a fun experience. I didn't realize that it was suddenly going to get into like a small. I wouldn't want to say it's full horror, but there are some horror twists in it. I was like, "Help me! I didn't realize this was going to happen."
Nobody helps out the scary clown.
No, they all think that we can handle this, but no, we all want to be held as much as the next guy.
That's right. Oh my gosh. So what's your ultimate? Do you have an ultimate goal for your channel, or are you just gonna keep enjoying yourself and trying to keep other people enjoying themselves too?
Yeah, I think that it's going to be somewhere in between that because we are definitely going to make it a place where anyone can feel welcome. And we're going to make sure that we remember it all the way because what I'm planning on doing is like every year, or even when I finish doing all the streaming stuff, I'm planning on getting like different artists. It's already started now, but we're going to have like a lot more from that time. But we're going to make it so that we have like my character in the game that we play. So that we can look back on it like a scrapbook to say that I was actually there, and anyone that I was with at the time is also there, and so we can spend like anniversary streams reminiscing. And it's going to be like making memories, even though it's like just simple as playing a game. It was like we actually lived it.
It's in the United States we'd have those as television clip shows. They were like, remember that time when Uncle Buddy showed up? Go back and kind of fade back into the scene. So be the year in review.
Definitely.
That's a great idea. It sounds to me like you've got some innovations to put into this. Not easy to do when there's so many people on VTubing. But you've got some ideas, and sounds like you're putting them to life.
Thank you. So even though our big theme is death, we want to be able for people to come in and just like really have a newfound respect for life, because we want it to be like it's not just a streaming channel. We want people to actually like think of their lives and think back to like really, really good memories. It's kind of like you taking like a scrapbook of different memories that you have.
Yeah.
And so you're looking back at everything fondly. Even the bad stuff you start to remember with a bit of a fond glow.
Yeah.
So I thought, you know what? Something as small as streaming could have that effect as well.
It certainly can. And you're going to provide some highlights for other people to remember along the way, too.
Oh, definitely.
Absolutely. Lefty, it's an absolute pleasure to talk with you. And I hope we can get you again here real soon to talk about some of these great things coming up. Folks, make sure you stop by and find out what Lefty's up to. We're going to have the links in the description for the video. I'm going to be checking out that Wednesday show. Remember, if you're in the United States, that's going to be a few hours ahead of where you're at. But you check out the channel and find out what Lefty's got, because it really sounds like you've got a good head on your shoulders and you've got a lot of really good plans coming up.
Thank you, and thank you ever so much for having me. It's been a blast.
I do appreciate it. We will talk to you again real soon. Thank you for listening to Eric Loy Interviews. Join us again next time when we talk to another member of the always interesting VTuber community.